Clashers Ash Lane here, coming at you today, talking about the new changes in Clash Royale. Now, you'll see here, we're looking at the forums, a post by Tim from Supercell, and he says there's going to be an early February update. And some of what's coming in the update looks to be a bunch of balancing changes, and we're going to go ahead and review them today and just talk briefly about how it could change, you know, the meta of the game right now, the direction that things are heading, what is popular, and what will be more popular post this update. So let's jump right into it here. So arrows, damage decreased by 4%. Arrows are the most popular card in the game, and we felt you simply got too much value for the 3 elixir cost. So that's interesting. I actually love arrows, and hey, that makes sense, right? Because they're the most popular card in the game. And, you know, when you're seeing one card in pretty much every single deck on the TV Royale on the leaderboard, well, maybe it's a little bit too powerful. So it doesn't seem like it's a huge nerf to them, a decrease by 4%, but at the same time, that 4% can make a big difference. I think, in contrast, I personally would like to see a 4% bump in the zap damage, but hey, that's just me. We won't be seeing that, to be clear. I just was talking about I'd like to see a little bit more zap usage in the game. It used to be my favorite spell earlier. But anyway, let's move along here to freeze. So the freeze is very, very popular. You guys probably know this if you're in higher leagues. The radius has been decreased to 3 from 4, and the duration increases 0.3 seconds per level. So not really a nerf or a buff here, but basically it's lasting a little bit longer, but you're not getting that same radius. The radius is a significant decrease there. It's from 4 to 3, so basically 25% decrease. That's going to be pretty major. You're not going to be able to, because right now you guys know if you're sending in that lethal combination of the balloon followed by the freeze, you can basically freeze such a wide area where you can get, you know, 2 or 3 air targeting troops at the same time and still get the tower. So that radius will shrink significantly, and I actually like that change a lot. Wizard damage decreased by 7. Wizard is the most used troop among the top players in the game, and is slightly overpowered, has made the Bomber and Musketeer nearly obsolete. Well, that is certainly true. I love the Musketeer. I still use it from time to time, but let's face it, right now, the Bomber is really underpowered, or underused. Maybe not underpowered, so maybe with the Wizard decreased, maybe we'll see the Bomber, who only costs 3 elixir, used a bit more. I hope that's the case. I actually really like the Bomber. We're going to get to some changes made to the Bomber in just a couple notes here. Let's cover the Barbarians next. The hit points decreased by 4%. Barbarians are the second most used troop at the top, also a bit too strong. In a lot of cases, they simply offer too much value for 5 elixir. Well, I actually really like this one. Hit points decreased by 4%. So that's actually another a fairly significant. These numbers seem small, the 4%, but they're pretty significant when you think about the how well balanced the game is, just fine-tuned it is. So now barbarians that maybe weren't able to be killed with, say, a level 5 fireball, now they will be. So that actually has implications throughout every single level of the game, no matter what level your cards are. So the barbarians, a little hit point decrease. I like that. That will actually make the Valkyrie a decent card at countering the Barbarians, because right now the Barbarians are just too overpowered. Even dropping a Valkyrie, they'll kill her in just a few, maybe about 3 or 4 seconds till they kill her, and she's not able to do maybe only 1 or 2 whirlwinds, getting them to about 50% health if they're the same level. Now they'll have a little bit more opportunity to use that Valkyrie in other counter cards a bit easier against the Barbarians, because they can kill them faster. Moving on, the Bomber, the attack speed increases by 0.1 seconds. So the use rate is quite low, Tim says, partly because the Wizard is so much stronger. After the boost, the Bomber should be a more enticing option, and again, I agree. I really hope we start seeing a little bit more Bomber action in the top gameplay. Now, the Golem and the Golemites, that you can see, The damage and the golem, the damage and death damage increase by 43%. That is really, really significant. And then contrastly, we're going to see the golemites hit points. Their damage is going to be decreased by 43%. That seems about right to me. So the golem is going to see a bit more play here. You can only assume. I know I'll be playing the golem and trying him out in more decks shortly right after this update here, because I'll tell you what, the golem is pretty beast mode, but if you place him on towards the end of your map, towards your king tower, and the opponent has time to plan for him, it really only takes a minion horde and a little distraction to take down that golem. So, and the problem is if you are able to get him to that crown tower, the reward should be pretty significant, right? Because he's so slow moving, and he takes absolutely forever to get there, that once he gets there, he'll actually be able to do some damage now. So that's pretty good. I think that's a big positive change. So, we'll start with the P.E.K.K.A. here. You can see the P.E.K.K.A. hit points are being decreased by 13%. The cost is also being decreased from 8 to 7. So, interesting. P.E.K.K.A. we don't see a lot of usage from, so hopefully this will help. The 7 cost on the elixir should definitely help. I thought 8 was a bit too pricey, and it seems like that was that's what they did there. So let's move on to the Expo. The hit points decreased by 15%. Players with the Expo card unlocked have used it almost half their matches. That is a lot. It's a specialized card, both to use and to be dealt with. We think it's cool. We didn't think it was cool, excuse me, to see it in this many matches. So, I hate the Expo. It is my most annoying card to deal with as a defender. I don't use it too often because I don't know why. Just to me, you know what? I do know why. Because I have the bias of Clash of Clans, and when I see the Expo, I think defense, meaning it can target all my troops, but not offense, as in it's going to kill my tower. I hate when they use an Expo, when the opponent uses an Expo to kill my towers. It's not something that I love in the game right now, but hey, I'm not making the decisions. So if I had my way, I don't think I would let any defensive structure target the towers. That would be my preference. But hey, to see the hit points decreased, I'm in favor of that, but I think it would just be a really cool card and still be used a lot if it was just a long-range defensive weapon. So the Inferno Tower, lifetime decreased by 45 seconds from 60. He goes into saying that their balancing principle is offense over defense. The Inferno Tower's high usage rate really made it obvious that the Inferno Tower was absolutely dominating the game at high levels. If you go to TV Royale, you'll see the Inferno Tower was in like almost every match, it seemed like. So I think this is a good move. Obviously, nerfing the Inferno Tower is pretty big. Cannon, they totally revamped, right? So the cost was decreased in half from 6 to 3. Range to 6 from 7, so slightly reduced. And the lifetime to 40 seconds from 60 seconds. Hit points decreased. So this cannon is no longer a big bulky unit, but rather a field cannon. It only costs 3. That is cheap. We'll definitely be seeing some cannon play. Cannon is one of the least used cards, he says, and that makes sense because it is only a ground targeting unit, and it costs 6 right now. You get much more value out of the Inferno Tower. No real need to use the cannon right now. So hopefully we'll be seeing more cannon. You guys know that the Tombstone is one of my favorite cards in the game, and maybe Cannon might be that on defense for me, just because I love 3-cost cards. I love the Knight, I love the Tombstone, and I might love this Cannon now. So the Mortar, the cost is decreased to 4 from 6. The damage decreased by 40%. Lifetime to 20 seconds from 40. It's another one of the least most used cards. Expo is simply a more compelling choice, so the cheaper cost and shorter lifetime should definitely differentiate it from the Expo. That makes it that makes a lot of sense. Mortar is another one of those cheese cards, in my opinion, that I hate when the mortar kills your tower. But hey, hopefully we'll see a different usage out of it. It can carve out its own kind of niche after this in the game, and then we can kind of see from there what happens. The level of the mirrored common cards increased by 4 and mirrored rare cards by 2. So that's pretty drastic. Mirror is a super fun card, doesn't see much use because it's an epic and almost always a lower level than your commons and rares. So I'm excited about this one because I actually really love the mirror card. I think it should be a staple of the game rather than just something you kind of use. Right now it's kind of you use it and it's like, oh, cool card, but hey, it's not the most efficient card and you end up kind of wasting elixir on it right now. So I'm happy to see the level increase. That makes things much more interesting in terms of options for using the mirror. So really excited about this one. Probably one of my most exciting parts of this update here, this balancing update. So the bomb tower, the attack speed increased to 1.7 from 1.8. It's one of the least used cards. I'm not a big fan of the bomb tower. Hopefully this will help it. I don't have many other thoughts on the bomb tower, although it would be nice to see some sort of a new usage for the bomb tower. It's definitely, along with the cannon, one of the least used defensive cards in the game. The barbarian hut hit points increased by 10%. Barbarians are losing some hit points, so the Barbarian Hut is being increased to compensate. That's pretty self-explanatory. That makes sense. So guys, there we have it. Not sure if anything else will be on the way in the next February update, or the first update the game's ever seen in the soft launch. So will be exciting. If there is anything else announced, I'll be sure to bring it to you. If not, then hopefully we'll get some good gameplay right after these changes take an effect in the game, and we'll certainly share some new combinations that maybe aren't so possible, or at least aren't economically feasible in terms of elixir cost right now. So guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care.